Programa es a nuestro estimado doctor Said, que ya ha hablado en otras ocasiones, como todos los ponen, casi todos los que van a participar hoy, con lo cual simplemente voy a hacer un brevísimo recordatorio de su extenso currículum, para poder quedar. Simplemente a los que no habéis estado aquí antes, os recuerdo que él es en la actualidad director del Institute for Global Security and Defense, que está ubicado en Abu Dhabi, en Emiratos Árabes. Y es un gran experto en seguridad internacional desde ese ámbito, vamos a decir, entre comillas, un tanto civil, ¿no? Por sus funciones en el instituto, pero también hay que señalar que su experiencia procede de que ha sido oficial durante toda su carrera en las Fuerzas Armadas de Egipto y bueno, ha llegado a alcanzar el grado de mayor general, que es como un general de división en España. Bueno, pues dicho esto, recordatorio simplemente de su larga carrera y profesionalidad, le cedo la palabra porque él nos va a ilustrar ahora sobre las rivalidades estratégicas en el Mediterráneo Oriental y bueno, va a hablar un poco de todos los países. En fin, le voy a dejar a él, que él es el que sabe cómo organizar su ponencia.
See you again. Good morning, everybody. So we started talking first time about theoretically about the war, types of war, shapes of war, conflicts, and then we concentrated more on strategic rivalry in the region with all major powers and some regional powers, or the regional powers and some influential states. Now I will concentrate more on the Mediterranean. Not all of it, but East Mediterranean. You are in the West Mediterranean, so maybe you would like to know what about the East Mediterranean. I'll bring it to you here. Okay. I will talk about three main points. First one is about rivalry between, let me say, it's not that rivalry, it's more interaction. It's including rivalry between Turkey, Egypt, and Israel, the main three. I will try to explain in details somehow what is the problem exactly. So, how it will end, how until now, and how it will end up. So, about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 2015, it started like what? Starting to redrawing the maritime borders. Drawing the maritime borders is not by yourself, according to international law, but it has to be within the international agreements, the international law, and in connection with countries, bordering countries themselves, and must be deposited in the United Nations. So Egypt, Cyprus, Greece, and Israel, they started to do these kind of maritime borders among them. There is someone very important, not only one, but someone is more important missing here, which is Turkey. So Turkey was not part of that. So what happened after is, as you see, Italy and Greece, in addition to Cyprus and Israel as well, they started to think about establishing a project of extending a pipeline, which is this one, how to extend the gas from the East Mediterranean for the countries which have gas here to Europe through Italy. See like this? It's coming like this. Remember that this line is coming from Russia through Turkey, which is Turkish Stream. If you heard about it, Turkish Stream 1. There is Turkish Stream 2 to Germany, which is Nord Stream, and this is Turkish Stream. Okay, here, this one. And this is the one which I told you started to think about. At the same time, and it was very expensive, as you see, Turkey was always trying to have like negotiation with Israel to take their gas through Turkey, but not through outside Turkey. So Turkey would like to be in the middle. As I'm taking gas from Russia to you, here to Europe, also I would like to take gas from Israel to Europe. I know that Spain, for example, you take your gas, I think, from Algeria and Morocco, and there's some points around that between Algeria and Morocco, but anyway, some of the gas also coming from these, right?
Yeah.
I don't talk about that anyway, I try to avoid. So, then, Egypt started to think about Mediterranean Gas Forum. It's the Mediterranean Gas Forum. It was forum, just forum. And 7 countries were members in this, the countries which you see. From Europe, 3 countries, which are Italy, Greece, Cyprus. From Middle East, Palestine, Jordan, Egypt, and Israel. 2 important countries are missing here. Number 1 is Turkey and Syria, remember, right? Because it was rejected, or let me say frozen from the Arab League as well, because of the Syrian war, what's going on inside, and human rights and so on. So Syria was outside, which is a very important element in this issue. Okay? Few years later, Turkey started to think, I will never be outside, so I have to do something positive, politically aggressive, but I have to do something. So they started to think in 2 dimensions, economic and security dimensions. We will not talk about security much now, which is, they started to support the government of Libya against the parliament of Libya, west of Libya against east of Libya, by weapons, by logistics, by finance. So that was the first one. In the same time, Egypt was supporting the east, which is Khalifa Haftar, Benghazi, the parliament. So the parliament of Libya was against the government of Libya. You have 2 decision makers or deciders in the country. So that was the security, support the West militarily against the East, and Egypt was supporting the East, even until now, somehow politically more, against the West. Economic-wise, you start to have economic zone between Turkey and Libya without asking any neighboring countries, which is this one, as you see. This one. And this is killing Greece. Only Greece is taking part from its portion. And he said, why not to make another one with Israel? Libya accepted for sure, because the government is pro-Turkey, but Israel saying, no, we can think, we will see what can we do, what we can do, and so on. So this is the one, which is, and here the blue one, as I'm telling you, was for a new demarcation between Libya and Turkey. In the same time, UAE signed defense agreement with France. And it was surprising to everybody because it was against Turkey somehow. Defense agreement is to fight together against enemy. And some analysts said it's against Turkey. I don't know how. So it's like that now. So they have like plan with Israel, and this one decided with Libya, but it was rejected, as I told you. So I will show you the result from that and how the Turkish were thinking. This is a map again. The red borders are Turkish. The blue borders are more Greece and Cyprus. Okay? Remember this, red and blue. Then, when they start to do the one with Libya, what will be the result? This triangle will be given with a portion of gas will be given to Egypt more on account of Greece. So even though we don't have any conflict as Egypt with Turkey in maritime borders or economic borders, we have no clashes. But the Turkish idea to convince Egypt to accept their new maritime borders is to accept this plan because Egypt will have this yellow triangle extra of portion of gas to Egypt, which really big number, it's rich of gas, to be taken from Greece and given to Egypt. On the other hand, with Israel, if Israel accepts, so this will be taken from Cyprus to Israel. This is a rectangle, the one you see here, will be given with gas to Israel. So if Egypt and Israel accepted, or is they have accepted the proposals of Turkey, then they will earn big portions of gas for both of them. But the point here, why both countries deny it? Because how Turkey started to think to give you, like what? When I gave you according to the international law, according to the last or the final line of my borders. And those two are not designed according to the Turkish borders as Turkey. They are designed to the Turkish borders as Turkey and northern Cyprus, which is occupied by Turkey. Did you get my point now? So when you calculate from North Cyprus as part of Turkey, then these two triangles will be for Egypt and Israel as a gift. So if Egypt and Israel accept them, it means that Egypt and Israel recognize north of Turkey as north of Cyprus as Turkish territory, which is against the international law. And that was the main reason we rejected, and Israel rejected his proposal at that time, and even until now. So, this is regionally. I would like also to see how Russia and China is looking at the region right there. The United States of America and Europe is looking at this region, East Mediterranean, from 2 or 3 perspectives. Number one, NATO security. Because it's bad for NATO passages, an area of responsibility of NATO. Number two, as also source of gas and some natural resources. In addition to which is very and more important, the freedom of the navigation of maritime routes. You have to protect it. Every country is using these routes coming from Suez Canal to the Red Sea to Asia to Europe, must be protected by all beneficiaries, which is Europe, United States, China, Russia, everybody, and even our region for sure, which are owning this one. So, I start here with Russia. Putin, really smart, as always I repeat. He knows very well that he has specific vital seas. He has the North Sea in the north, outside the map, everybody knows about it. And he has the Black Sea, right? The Black Sea, here somewhere. Yeah, it's this one, the Black Sea. And always he's thinking what's so-called by Russian, the warm water. The warm water is the Mediterranean and the Red Sea. So, to go to the warm water, to the Mediterranean and the Red Sea, I have to go through Black Sea. And to go through Black Sea, I have to go through 2 straits, the Ghoneim and the Bosporus straits, which are owned by Turkey. And according to the international law, all the straits are allowed to all countries except, or canals. If this country is fighting with the country which is owning the strait or the canal. So that's why, and remember, Turkey is NATO. And that's why always Russia thinking before fighting with NATO. This is one of the main reasons. The straits coming to Mediterranean and Red Sea. You remember, before October War between Israel and Egypt, Suez Canal was closed for a few years. And every shipping was very expensive. We have the right to close it because we were in war. So it was like that, the same. So it's very worried. Black Sea, I think you have to study a lot about it. You have, if you would like to understand Russia. Okay? So that's why, that's why we think much about it. And then, this is, as I told you, the 2 straits. I talk about China. I'm sure you heard about Belt and Road. The belt is the ground road, and the road is the sea routes. Okay, just to let you know. See Belt and Road, how they pass. See, they come from China, and then they arrive here. See, and we have from Suez Canal. You go like this. This is, by the way, the belt on the ground from Turkey, and then going north, and then they go to Greece. And the road is coming from China again, from the east, through Egypt, Alexandria, and then go to Greece. And that's why even Turkey asked it to bring also the road which is going through the sea to go to Izmir in Turkey, so they enjoy the trade from China in Belt and Road, in ground routes and maritime routes. So China is caring much about the East Mediterranean. And that's why when you see China started to involve itself in our region, they started with a multi-dialogue between Iran and Gulf. Now they think to start, even they decided to start with Palestinian cause, and I think maybe the next, or after 2 steps, will be as Mediterranean if it's not common, because it is a key point for their Belt and Road. Okay, for my future expectations with the countries, as you see, I draw with my imagination some circles together. Those are the countries, okay? All the countries, not only the 7 members, but also I added USA, I add France, because they have some roles now. And UAE for sure. The black one, this is the Est-Med Forum, and it became Est-Med, or Est-Mediterranean Forum, it became Est-Mediterranean Organization. Turkey would like to join it, by the way. So the countries are member are the blue one. Turkey is outside, Syria is outside, remember? And then the green one, those are the countries mainly against Turkey. Egypt and Emirates in our region especially. Other countries are NATO member. If you have any problem with them, it's not escalated like ours that time is. And then we have the yellow one. The yellow one is the joint military exercise in East Mediterranean. Notice how many countries? Egypt, UAE, France, Cyprus, Greece, Italy, and Israel. And all of them, or most of them, under command of the United States of America, like the task forces which you see, in the Mediterranean, in the Gulf, in the Red Sea, and so on. Okay? And then the red one. These 2 countries, which is UAE, France, and USA, they are added to be like observers to the East Mediterranean Organization. Just observers, not members. So what is the result now? We have this right hand and left hand countries. At right hand, all of these countries. All of them. Which all of here. And the left one, only Turkey. And that was intended, actually. And one of the main reasons, I'm talking about the main, as I told you, that north of Cyprus is not part of Turkey. But other reasons that there is problems between Europe and Turkey, political problems, the Kurd problem even with Israel, for that, as I told you, Israel asked for independence of Kurds, and so on. See? So it's something accumulated. It's not only related to gas, but the result of like that. And that's why I see expectations that, for sure, one of 2 options. Some of them will go here, or this one will have to try to be here. No other option. Because economic situation of Turkey is getting worse day by day. Okay. That's why I think that who is the main motivator here? Egypt. Why? Egypt, not the strongest country, for sure, but it's very influential in the East Mediterranean. At least with the first initiative with East Mediterranean Forum and now East Mediterranean Organization. So, as I told you, notice something. Turkey tried to avoid any provocation against Egypt. I need you more. Be with me. I gave you more, as I told you, portion of, yes, we can make more relations, more trade. We have good trade together, but even more bilateral relations. As I told you, we are the two jaws on the East Mediterranean, north and south, that we can bite anyone against both of us, when pass like whoever against both of us. So they try to have good relations, and Egypt need Turkey for sure. But we have Egypt and Turkey specific problem, which is Muslim Brotherhood. They support Muslim Brotherhood much, and the problem with the ideology of Muslim Brotherhood is more revolutionary, something like Iran, to rule the whole countries in the region as one ummah, together as one nation, which is not, the idea is not accepted with the nationalism of most of the countries now, because most of the countries are not religious, but nationalists in umbrella. Also, Turkey will try to have a lot of forums, a lot of conferences, try to have more allies, come with me, can discuss, we can go. And the result started from 2021, by the way. He started to have very good relations with UAE, enhanced relations with Egypt. Ambassadors start to come back to those countries, even in Saudi Arabia as well. Because, overall, that we call him the best or the highest engineer of policy of Turkey, he said, my idea of zero problems with our neighbors. It became zero friends. He lost all his neighbors after a very short time altogether. And if you lost your neighbors, you will be isolated. Then your economy will be down, even though you are a technological country, can improve yourself. But technology without good international relations, you are lost. You are lost. Okay, next. I think more maritime agreements will appear. As I told you, Egypt and Israel will never accept something against the international law. Or at least this is the reason they declare. So Turkey will try to find another way to approach to accept it among the forum, as I told you, with different agreement. So that's why even it's coming in my coming slides, the last one, you will notice something. What, Turkey and Greece, almost like enemies. I think you know that. We have, infiltration by aircrafts, from that side and south side, and you don't like each other, border problems, maritime problems. And Egypt is a bit willing to Greece for the reason of supporting Muslim Brotherhood by Turkey is one, and second one, as I told you, the international law. So they will try to find something by retaliating a little. Not to take from Greece and give you, but maybe try to find a center, halfway policy. How can I find a good position without losing my relation or making more bad relation with Greece and also have good relation with Egypt, because Egypt is very important to Turkey, as I mentioned. Also, I think they will try to support Belt and Road. If any country tries to support Belt and Road, it will be supported much more by China. Which country is the backbone of Belt and Road? Do you have any idea? I will tell you my perspective, maybe I'm wrong. Iran. Iran is the main fountain. If the Belt and Road come in one line like this, Iran is the main fountain for the Belt. That's why China is behind Iran. Iran is like the chop here, the throat to Belt and Road. So if you cut the throat, you cut the Belt and Road. That's why Belt and Road is very important. Iran is very important to China. And any aggression against Iran is something like aggression against China. Then, I think Egypt is bordering with 1,000 kilometers area. As I told you, we have two problems with Turkey. I mentioned only one, the problem of supporting Muslim Brotherhood. The second one, have you heard about this expression, strategic depth? Okay. There is a strategic depth and a strategic direction. It's very military. Strategic direction, that means a threat to me. Threat to me. The strategic direction, I receive threats. Strategic depth, I receive security. So it's a good country who can convert strategic directions to strategic depth. And if your internal strategic depth is small, like Israel, like Qatar, like Emirates, so you have to have good relations to have an external strategic depth. Like my strategic depth in Spain is my friend. So whatever I need from Spain, I will get them. Now I have more. Sure. But my strategic threat in France is my friend. That is, when I go to France, I don't tell him. Otherwise, I'll be under threat. So it's something. So I have to convert my relation with him, to enhance it, to convert him to strategic depth. And the best strategic, the most important external strategic depth to any country, the bordering countries. That's why the strategic depth of Europe is very big, because you are allies. Don't lose it. And that's why Egypt would like to have very good relations and security inside Gaza, in the east, in Israel, inside Sudan, inside Libya. And Turkey is spoiling, or was spoiling that at least in Libya. So Turkey will have to reduce this kind of aggression inside Libya against Egypt to earn more from Egyptian influence in the East Mediterranean, because Turkey, they have population, yes, it's one of the giant countries, 3 countries giant in the Middle East, Egypt, Turkey, and Iran, more than 190 millions. Giant means more than 90 millions. It has technology, but they don't have natural resources. So how they have, not by buying, but by gaining from the forum to have extra region or extra water with gas. They think this way. Also, that's why they will have to withdraw forces, and they did. They start to release from Libya a little bit against Egypt. And I think the situation in Libya will be much better when Turkey calms down, but Egypt also, and it's trying to calm down and to make it more, not very critique, a little bit this way, or more peaceful. Okay, so my second, in energy. As I told you, I think that Turkey will try to give up a little bit to take more. Okay, I will not provoke Greece anymore, but we can please give me a portion, make me a member with you in the List 8 forum. And also, I think reducing energy. Let me tell you about this. Countries are different. There is a country which is only buyer of gas. Okay? And there is another country which is seller of gas. The country seller of gas, it has categories. Number 1, the country produces gas. Number 2, the country liquefy gas. So produce and industrialize. You liquefy gas. And then country produce gas, liquefy gas, and country export gas. So when you reach this point, that means you are very important country. So Turkey would like to have, Egypt has 2-3 stations of liquefying gas. That's why Egypt was selected to gather the oil gas of East Mediterranean and liquefy inside Egypt and then export to outside. But because of some reason, it was delayed. But after the Ukrainian war, this supported Egypt because Europe needs more gas instead, which is taken from Russia, the gas of the Mediterranean. So we will not wait for a very concrete plan to take from Egypt and other. Then okay, we will take from you whatever you have. Please give us in addition to the green energy like hydrogen and so on. I hope you got my point here. So Turkey would like to have gas, natural gas, and to produce as well with liquefying stations. They need to do that. Europe, when they started to think why Egypt and Turkey to liquefy gas, I was in NATO conference in 2015, and a 90 years old expert from Greece, I asked him, why you selected Egypt? I know that Turkey is your enemy now, something like that. He said, you can compare with Syria, Lebanon, and Israel. If your neutral stations, the station for liquefying gas, has been hit with nuclear weapon, will Egypt be affected? Not that much. It will, but not that much. But if it's inside Israel, inside Lebanon, inside Syria. Syria has a problem, until now it's a failed country, so it will be big explosion, and many reasons maybe to make these explosions in Lebanon or in Israel. This is what he told me. So the size of the country is very important, the level of security of the country is also important, and our liquefying gas, they are in the north delta, north part, north Sinai, south part, which we had terrorism for some time. This is all from my side. I hope you could reach something. It's a bit small but complicated, and that's all. Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias, doctor Sayed. Además, se ha tenido muy bien al tiempo que habíamos pactado, con lo cual pues tenemos ahora lugar para poder hacer preguntas. Voy a ir dando la palabra a la audiencia, luego ya si hay tiempo pues añadiré alguna personalmente.
Thank you, Dr. Sayed. It was very interesting. And I wanted to ask you a question. I don't know if maybe you could go through the presentation again, because I wanted to show you a map.
Which one?
Yeah, it was one of the first maps.
I think, can you bring the map again, please?
Yes, please.
The map again. I mean, my presentation again.
Yeah, he's doing
I
it.
think he needs my presentation again.
He's doing it.
Yeah, well, it's basically you show the pipeline route or something like that. It went
Is the Belt and Road one?
It was, I think, not that one, no. Next. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Yeah, as you can see there, it would go from, the previous one. Yeah. The red line that you show in the northern part of Syria,
Okay.
I understand that the gas pipeline would go through there.
This is the red line. The red line is the Turkish borders according to their drawing.
Okay.
Maritime borders and economic borders.
Mm-hmm. So the gas pipeline wouldn't go through there?
No, it's not with that.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was asking. That was my question. It was feasible.
No, just borders. Just borders.
To make...
I remember, notice the good thing that you notified me something.
Mm-hmm.
You are taking from Syria.
Yeah.
Right? You are taking, it's coming from Syria. But yeah, it's inside Turkey, but there is something, it's disputed as Skandarona between the two countries. You consider also Skandarona is Turkish, not Syrian.
Yeah, I know. That's why. My question was basically, is it feasible to make this kind of agreement, taking into account that part of Syria, which is completely unstable, which no one really gets to get control, and also it has the presence of Russian troops, by the way, and it's daily bombings, daily fighting there. So that was my question or concern. How feasible is this agreement if you take into account this part of it?
It's visible, you know why? Because what you mentioned. That's why you find Russian troops in Syria. I have Russian troops here, or I have Egyptian troops, for example, here, to enforce you to obey me of what I want in Black Sea. I'm talking about Russia and Turkey, for example. When you have national interest in Syria, right? You have national interest in Cyprus. So as Russia, when I become with my forces supporting any one of them, it could be against you or with you. It's your decision. It's a card of pressure, right?
Thank you.
¿Más preguntas?
Any more questions?
¿Más preguntas? Bueno, tenemos otra compañera.
No hay ninguna pregunta, ¿no?
Buenos días. Mi pregunta es sobre las tensiones que hay entre Turquía y Grecia, ¿vale? Que en un contexto histórico han tenido siempre conflictos, pero ahora mismo el conflicto, sí, las controversias que tienen, ¿es debido a los gasoductos o por qué motivo claramente?
I was waiting for your question, you know that? Because you ask me every time. Yeah.
She's asking if the Turkey and Greece confrontation is only dependent
Speak up, Clara.
She's asking whether the Turkey and Greece confrontation is only dependent on historic background or it has a more updated confrontation, whether on gas, you were referring, whether they are fighting for gas.
Okay, good point. Good point. Both. Both. Together and even more. As you are aware, after Ottoman Empire, it's good that we have this map again. The only gas is in, Anadolu. Anadolu is south of Turkey. If I'm not wrong, it's something here. Here. Or here. I'm not sure where is Anadolu. This Anadolu is the only Turkish portion of gas, area of the sea. How? After Ottoman Empire, and I think by most of Europe, but mainly Greece, they allocated this small portion, if I'm not wrong, to Turkey in Anadolu. So it's something historical that they have a small portion of area which has gas in the, as international borders to them, which had been recognized by United Nations and according to the international law. So it's something historical, economic, and security for energy security. What increased more, I think, this I can add. So now I cover the question if I'm not wrong. What I increase more is personality of Erdogan. Personality of Erdogan. Erdogan, I think, according to my understanding, he is one of specific countries, should be democratic country, but the presidents are behaving as country not of institutions, but countries of persons. That's why he keep on, you remember when I told you, changing constitutions, remains the presidents or the rulers. Changing rulers remains the constitutions. So that's why he changes constitutions to remain as leader. Remaining as leader with his mentality, aggressive personality, right? I'm not abusing. I'm not saying he's good or bad, but this is my understanding of his personality. His way is to take what I want from you by force, at least by pressure. That's why it's easy for him. It was easy for him to do 3 military operations in Syria. It was very easy, like that. If I compare with, not because it's my country. Trust me when I say that. I'm the first one always criticize my country. But when you compare with Egypt, even though that our national security was under threat in Libya, we were very careful to use Egyptian armed forces inside Libya. Ready, steady, but not go. Yes, because you are depending on international law more, the peace and security. Wallahi, it's not because I'm Egyptian, but just I'm giving you a comparison. But for him, very easy, send forces. Even more than what we agreed in Adna, for example, or even exceeding the region. That's why when somebody asks me, the Russian against Ukraine, is it invasion or protecting national security? Protecting national security, the country which you are using forces inside must accept. And you have to protect your national security and the national security of the country which you are protecting your national security in. Not to kill the people of the other country. But he's not doing that. Right? So that's why this is a personality of Erdogan. It affected his decisions. So it increased his enemies, decreasing his friends. So that's why the problem with Greece became bigger, and problems with other created even other nations, bordering or not bordering. That's why even he's one of the biggest countries in the region with biggest population, but he became more isolated because of his personality.
Thank you for your presentation. I would like to ask you if you think the conflict of Turkey and Greece started again, how would Egypt react? Who will it support, and how it could affect that to the conflict?
How Egypt? Sorry.
Yeah, if the conflict between Turkey and Greece. What would Egypt do with who, and how it would affect the East?
I would surprise you. I was giving a lecture in NATO, 5th of January 2020, just with starting with COVID-19. It was in next school in Obermergau, Germany. And I give you a question on another way. Forget about Egypt now, but I will come to you because it's very important. Remember, it's because Russian invasion, right? 2020. And the Turkish colleagues were attending. Some of them diplomats and some of them military. We were together, if you remember. Yeah, I was with Mark. We were together. What was my question? I told them, if Russia fights Greece for any reason, they will never, I know that, because of a lot of reasons, where will be the role of Turkey? Will support Greece as NATO member, or will support Russia as Greece is something like an enemy? Right? So it's a very important question, I agree with you. I look at the Turkish officers at the time and scream, no, we are following the chapter number 5 of protocol of NATO, blah, blah, blah. Let me come to you. Egypt does not support, I think, I'm no spokesperson, but the nature of Egypt is not to support any country against other, militarily. I gave you evidence, Ukrainian and Russian war, right? We are producing in Egypt, let me say we as Egyptian, in Egypt we produce a lot of Russian ammunition now with license, and even we improve them with higher technology, and we can sell to Russia or Ukraine, if we don't. Emirates is doing the same, Saudi is doing the same. Maybe politically or by populism or popularity, some people they support Russia for some reason or blah blah blah. But militarily, no, not at all. But if I come up more politically, I think Egypt will support the country which is supporting the interests of Egypt. So if Turkey is supporting more than Greece, for sure, politically or diplomatically, Egypt will support Turkey. Vice versa, Egypt will support Greece. So I think in this case, politically and diplomatically, Egypt supports Greece more.
Other questions?
You talked about, I didn't know about the gas categories that each country has, which I also compared gas producer, gas liquefier.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, in which category would Israel be in this ranking of?
The only problem with Israel is you don't have liquefying stations, but they are very definite in plans, very punctual, right? So I think Israel, if I'm not wrong, they start to think in a way what? How to collect the oil gas in Israel and send it to Europe, to a country with liquefier like Germany, which are establishing, I would think now, liquefier of gas, or any other, and just for competition, not enemy here, to compete Egypt. But otherwise, to send my gas to Egypt as seller, and Egypt liquefy the gas and export it. And in this case, I think Egypt will be the more beneficiary, because they are doing the three. We have gas, produce gas, and we liquefy and then we export. Thanks.
May I also ask whether Algeria or Morocco are liquefier or exporter, or in which category?
I'm not sure, but I think both of them, they are only producer. They own the gas, the natural resources, but not the. And by the way, I don't know if you know or not. Wallahi, if you ask me, but let me finish the answer to your question first, because something very important that would be advice for me. Morocco and Algeria, like any other country, they have a portion of gas in their maritime economic borders. They have economic areas, economic zones, which is a perfect terminology, and then they sell to your countries, and usually they come through Spain, I think, and so on. If you ask me, do you prefer to be a country owns gas or does not own gas? I think I prefer to be country does not own gas but has the technology of integrating gas. Believe me, I would like to be like Italy, like Italy. Because you know why? To have the technology, that means you have human resources more than the natural resources. Human resources, because natural resources will be finished one day. But human resources will never be finished. We generate you, and you generate your children, and so on. And if I talk money-wise, we share 50% or more, right? You exhibit to me with your technology, and you take more than maybe, I think, 50% of my guests. So you are more important than me. That's all. Any other?
Just a small point, maybe. A few years ago, I visited the liquefaction plant in Damietta. And the main customer was Spanish company.
Damietta in Egypt.
Yeah. It's a big plant. There are only 2 in Egypt. But I was surprised that the main customer was Spanish. I don't know the company. I don't recall the company. So Spain is also involved in all these problems that we are dealing with.
I was discussing with Dr. Tony, who's the spy? Always trying to check about us. I know everything. Until it was you. I was reporting one thing. You are spying us, huh?
Just the research.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bueno,
Bien,
voy a coger un minuto, que es el que ya nos queda para cerrar la mesa y seguir ya dándole la palabra. Yes, I would like to, if you go just a little bit further about the situation about Lebanon, you know, because they have to put an agreement with Israel about the gas and everything, and yesterday. The speaker Pablo, he led us the conclusion that the situation in Lebanon is worse even than in Syria, you know, in some economic aspects, no. So this situation with gas and oil could be a solution for the future, but we don't know if it could be a real solution or it will take a lot of time, a lot of years till it could be able for
you have a comment? You would like to say something? You have a comment?
My comment is a very important question for Lebanon. It's a question of life or death somehow. And they are so happy that they discovered gas in their share of the sea. But the problem is, what will they do with the money?
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's a problem. We have no state anymore, and it's all corrupted in a big hole, in fact.
I would like to add another dimension. Again, you remember I told you some leaders in democratic or so-called democratic countries, and they make their countries leaders, countries of persons. One of them is Israel. Yeah, Netanyahu. Mm-hmm. He's really making everything for his personality. Even, again, I don't know him, I'm not against him. But some people say because, he has problems with his children, or they are submitted for court or crimes or whatever. That's not the issue. The issue is he would like to be president or prime minister forever. And the price to do that, in his mentality, which should be good, how much benefits to my country? It should be good, right? How much benefits to my country? But he doesn't remember something very important. The benefits of your country is on account of the other countries. International relations is not to steal from others and give to your people. So he's stealing from Lebanon. It's very clear, and he's exploiting the situation right now. Lebanon is a failed state, with all due respect, right? And really I feel pity to the Lebanese people. And he's exploiting, and instead of supporting as a bordering, he considers himself as a country, as a bordering country, Lebanon and Israel, he thinks only how to exploit the situation, but it will be explosion like Gaza. He doesn't learn. It will be explosion. Lebanon will be like Gaza someday if it continues this way. So that's why I think one of the main dimensions, in addition to what you mentioned, also the personality of Netanyahu. He's one of the how can I say, the evils, I believe, in this world. And just steal from another and give to his country as a man of the national interest of Israel. He will destroy Israel.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for the time that you take.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you very much.
We will continue with vamos a continuar.